Yeah, hey guys, welcome back to Detroit Garage. Now that we have the oil adapter made, we can proceed with hoses for fuel lines, oil lines, and filters, etc. So I've got to figure out where they're going to go on this forklift, find room for them. So put some of the bodywork back on and then proceed with hanging filters and seeing where I can find the room for them. So I'm going to incorporate the Alice Chalmers filters that came with the Buddha. So we're going to move those over here and put the secondary Detroit filter beside it. So the Buddha used a primary and a secondary in one, and I'm going to run them as a primary secondary into the pickup for the fuel pump. And then from the fuel pump through the secondary here, and then into the engine. And for the oil lines, I don't have any of the fittings yet, but I'm thinking of putting the oil filter right here. Something like that. Make a bracket and hang it. And then run the oil lines basically straight up from the remote. We'll get down to it and see what we can get done here. Okay, making a little progress. I remounted this Buddha filter. And then I'm going to get some hoses to mock up here, kind of fit everything up and then go buy new hoses. So here's my hoard of Detroit hoses. So I'm going to go through this and see if I can get enough fittings like this one here to make a new hose. And then on Monday I'll run down and buy this new hose here. So it's all pretty brand new hoses, but these have to be my favorite fittings. So you can make your own hoses. Really nice. So I use these hoses, I use these fittings on all my Detroits. Well, this hose here, I don't know how old it is, probably 20, who knows, 20, 30 years old. So it's off to the bin. Okay, there's the fitting cleaned up. All right, well, I have to, of course, shorten this hose, probably keep it. It's only 5 years old, so, and it's 3/8. So that should be enough. It's supposed to have 1/2 inch, but I think 3/8 will do the job. So that's fuel in to the pump and then fuel out to the filter next. Okay, a little more progress. Got the secondary bolted on, but it's on there now. So I got to run the fuel lines from here. So it'll come from the pump out to the filter in, and then from the filter out, it'll run down here and over to the other side of the engine where the feed is here. That's the out, that's the return back to the tank. And this is the line here for that. Normally, I would put the filters on the cold side of the engine, but being that this is already going to be really busy with the alternator and the oil filter, air cleaner tubes and ducting, there's just no room. So I put it over on this side. So I think that's going to work pretty nice. So I'll make the line from here to the fuel pump. Hey guys, we got the filter system all hooked up. All the fuel lines are plumbed in. So fuel comes from the tank through this line, through a 25 and a 10, into the fuel pump, through another secondary 10 micron, and then from there it runs over to the feed side of the engine for the injectors. And then fuel goes through the head and then comes out here on the return and then back to the return side of the tank. So all done. Now we're going to work on the oil side of things. So I have to make a bracket for the oil filter and then run the lines up to it. So I'm going to measure that up now, get the fittings, and then go out and buy the lines. So I'm salvaging old fittings and reusing those. So these two can be reused, and then I have to buy 2 new 45s and a new hose. Obviously this one's trashed, so I'm just getting the fittings off, wash them up in the washer, and then go get the other fittings. All right, the fittings are cleaned up. So I'll cut this hose in half and see how it fits between the blower and the frame. Okay, we made up a bracket for the remote filter, and now I'm just kind of getting an idea how these hoses are going to run. The plan is to put 90s off of here and run these hoses straight down, and they'll go kind of between the blower and the frame. I think that'll work perfect. So now I'll measure up the hose and go buy a new hose. This is the kind of hose we're going to use, and go buy 2 90s and then 2 more fittings for this end here. Getting there, guys, slowly but surely. Well, I got back from the fitting shop, and of course I can't get the 45s off the bottom, so I need adapters, which they don't have, and those are on back order now. So I've got to wait a couple of days, maybe hopefully the end of this week they'll come in, but this gives you an idea. Got the new hose for it. So this gives you an idea how it's going to look. This is the in line, and then that's the return line back to the engine. All right, guys, we finally got the remote oil filter done. The fitting showed up, so this is where it ended up. I wanted it to go here, but there just wasn't enough room to get these hoses between the blower and the frame and everything and make them look decent. It was just too tight. So I wrapped them around the housing, and then up here. I still have to drill holes and mount this, but that's where it's going to end up essentially. Yeah. There's the adapter and the fittings. I ended up having to change up my idea here and get 290s and 145 to make it work. But it's in now, and I still have to pull the engine and put the flywheel on to test it. So once I do that, I'll tighten it up once the engine goes back in, and then I can start it and test for leaks. Well, there you have it, guys. That's the fuel system and the oil system plumbed in now. So going to work on the coolant system, fan belts, all that kind of stuff. So again, thanks for checking in, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.